Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Underrated Movies. I'm your guy, I'm your man, Mr. Alton Henry. Today, I'd like to talk to you of another underrated film that you've got to check out now, available on HBO Max, called The Art of Self-Defense, starring Jesse Eisenberg, uh, Emmett Pott, and whoever that actor was from the freaking yeah, I don't remember the actor's name. My bad. Centering on a man who is unfortunately gets jumped and beat up, and he enrolls in a self-defense class, a martial arts class, hopefully to learn karate and to be a better man. And any possible future threats that he might face, he's gonna try to, take care of it. And it's a very unique dark comedy. That's actually one that's been under my radar for quite some time, and I finally had the pleasure to not honor, to watch it. And I have to tell you, this is not what I expect. This was a very different comedy that I thought was just very uniquely done. And this is a dark comedy. So I believe as a dark comedy, the humor is not forced, but they have a lot of unusual, unique behavior that transpires into the film that is very, very, I would say, might not be everybody's cup of tea, but I can tell you it felt very, very old school. And I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a great film. Jesse Eisenberg plays a guy who works at some sort of like, I think, firm or some sort of office job. He lives alone, 35 years old. He's feels his life is a little bit uneventful until suddenly he gets mugged by a group of biker gangs, all dressed in black and all that, and they beat the mess out of him. So he takes the opportunity to enroll in a martial art class and tries to be, a kung fu guy. And it's actually very unique. They have this own set of like rules of how you're supposed to earn your belt in the art of martial arts, in the idea of being a masculine person. And I really love the writing in this is how philosophical they really get with martial arts and masculinity, and it gets really thought provoking and unique, especially with this main guy that is known as Sensei. I'm not gonna pronounce the guy's name, and he's actually probably one of my favorite characters in the movie. Actually, if not him, he's probably one of the most unique characters in the film, where he pretty much helps and guides Jesse Eisenberg to be a quote unquote, on the current topic at hand, the best version of himself that he could be. And he goes and he teaches him, shows him through these different viewpoints of how martial arts can improve his own better life and how he needs to change his life and basically be more assertive and more frame of being a quote unquote masculine man. And it's very interesting. Every time you see him, it's actually interesting. He incorporates poses of martial arts in his speech, and it's actually kind of hilarious because it's like you become preachy, but then in the film, there's moments where he shows examples of what he means by that, but it's done in a very hilarious but smartly written way, at least for me, that it doesn't feel forced, but you kind of take in the moment and you kind of really think about it. You think about it, but when you think about it, it becomes quite hilarious. Jesse Eisenberg, I have to be honest, I haven't watched a lot of his movies, but I have to say this one might be my favorite of his work out of everything that he's done. And of course, with his career, with his kind of trait, this fits perfectly for him. And the way for him to really adapt into his sensei's mind and to really kind of get into martial arts and his better version of himself is quite unique. Now, there's not a lot of laughs in this, but it's more fascinating with humor. You're fascinated with what you see, but then when the humor comes, it's kind of like it's quite shocking to say, and it is actually quite darker from what the trailer sells you on this. And I'm gonna tell you right now, this film goes into some very uniquely dark humor direction that I did not expect. And I really, really, really loved where the film went. And I really don't have any flaws with this. I think the cinematography of this was amazing, and I like some of the wide shot. I like that most of the film is filmed in wide angles, in wide and medium angles, and it gives this kind of unique view and some sort of like it kind of like draws you into this movie. Like the cinematography, it feels kind of independent, which it is. It's an independent film, but it feels like each frame draws you in that world, and that's kind of rare, at least for me, when I'm watching a movie. And I think the premise was just so uniquely just done, and the film kind of draws you in. Again, this is not really like a very humorous film. It's humorous with the idea, and you kind of have to roll with it. There is like a unique twist towards the end, and there's my favorite part. One of my favorite scenes in the film is at the very end of the film. I won't spoil you how it happens, but there's this recruiting moment in the film that kind of plays along a bit, and then when it kind of does, it kind of surprises you. This movie is really good. To my surprise, I thought this film was very, very, very unique, and I highly recommend you check it out on HBO Max. The Art of Self Defense. Like, subscribe, comment below if you have seen it, and let me know what is your favorite underrated movie.